Thought it'd be an interesting idea to start off with the new video series because why not? And with summer coming along, 2019-20 ended the year. A lot of the prospects from the 2019 NHL Draft played their first seasons in the NHL, and I just want to go through all of them. So, of course, we're going to start off at first overall with Jack Hughes. Now, Jack Hughes had a very disappointing season with the New Jersey Devils, and to be honest, some people are asking themselves, can he improve when next season comes along? And to be honest, I think he will. I think he will definitely improve, but it's definitely gonna take some time. So in 2018-19, with his U.S. national team, he played 50 games, had 34 goals, 78 assists for 112 points. Hughes took a tremendous first step, which sets him apart, and at times you didn't even notice him because he is so small. But when he gets the puck, you better watch out. That's a quote from ISS Hockey back in 2019 before the draft started. And he's one of those guys where he can just go straight through traffic. He's small enough to do that. He reminds me a lot of Kevin Hayes. The way that Kevin Hayes would go through traffic would be would just blow my mind sometimes. I'd be like, how the heck did he get through those defensemen? And Jack Hughes is like that guy. He's the one that can get through can get through the defensemen, and then that's how he got a ton of goals. He was ranked number one by nearly every site. To be honest, there was really no surprise. I had a feeling he was going to go first overall, no matter where he went to. Whether it was like Detroit, whatever team that he went to, I knew that he was going first overall. And I think that people knew he was going first overall. I want to say since the 2017 NHL draft. I think everyone was saying that. But, this guy is someone that, if you need a great offensive player, he's one of those guys. And, maybe the reason why he wasn't as good this season, as he was when he was with the U.S. national team, was because he was playing with a lot of U.S.-born players. He's playing with Cole Caulfield, Cam York. He's playing with all these guys. The U.S. had a very strong team. Team USA this season had an incredibly strong team. And, I think you're looking at this and, that could play a role. He was still getting used to the players on his team. He didn't really have he didn't have any guys from his U.S. development team. So, he didn't have his teammates, and, he had to get used to them. So, I guess that makes sense. So, April came along. I remember the night that the Devils were announced with the first overall pick. I was at a banquet for my hockey team because we just finished up our season. And, we found out, and I was like, oh, great, they're going to get another insane player. Because, the whole entire NHL fan base exploded. All the teams exploded. The Devils got the number one pick in 2017, selecting Nico Hischier, and he has somewhat proved himself. I really don't know. Devils fans, you can give me your thoughts. Hischier is heading into his into his fourth season as a hockey player. So, you look at this, and I just think that, it's kind of the same thing with the Edmonton Oilers. There was a lot of teams this season that got a lot of first-round picks this year, in this decade. The Oilers got like 3. The Devils got 2, and it's just looking at that, it just gets kind of unfair. The NHL and their fan bases do get pretty mad. They're like, oh, this team's going to be stacked. Oh, this team's going to be godly. Well, that was not expected this season, wasn't it? So, the Devils selected Jack Hughes first overall, and I was like, okay, so they added a very solid offensive player to their team that can put up the points that the Devils definitely need. And, they also added a lot of more acquisitions, too. They acquired P.K. Subban from the Nashville Predators literally the day after Hughes was selected. They traded for Nikita Gusev from the Vegas Golden Knights, and they got many other defensive core players. And really, the only thing that I was worried about heading into next season with their team was their goaltending. In all honesty, that was really the only thing I was worried about. But I think that Mackenzie Blackwood, he came in, really proved himself for the Devils, and there was also Corey Schneider, who towards the end of 2019-20, he played well, but I understand why he left the Devils. So it makes a lot of sense. Heading into October, I had a feeling that he was going to have a slow start. Maybe 10 points. but like not the start that I exactly expected. Mind you, before you say like, oh, he probably got sent down to the AHL because of his bad statistics, he was not sent down to the AHL at all. I looked at the statistics. I did not see Jack Hughes in any AHL games. I think I even went to one where we played the Binghamton Devils. Of course, I'm a Levi Phantoms fan, but I don't think that Jack Hughes went down to the AHL at all, so you can just eliminate that off of there. October he played 10 games, and I expected to maybe have, I don't know, 9 to 10 points, because the numbers he put up in the USA development team. I thought to myself, I'm like, okay, so this guy can put up the points for the Devils. That was unexpected. In 10 games in October, he had 5 points, and I did expect him to have a slow start, but not that slow. 2 goals, 3 assists. So I thought to myself, I'm like, okay, so maybe he can have a bounce back season in November, and I just batched December in it too because it was just disappointing. In 26 games between November and December of 2019, he had 11 points. I thought to myself, I'm like, oh god, and the Devils were really declining. They placed Corey Schneider on waivers. They traded Taylor Hall. They were losing a lot of solid players on their team, and I think that 4 goals, 7 assists is just disappointing. And I was really disappointed with Jack Hughes heading into the season. And January, I included January, February, and March together since it wasn't a ton of games for him. He played 25 games, so, he was not playing a lot of games to start off the season. And to be honest, is that really expected with the points he had before? No, at the time he had 16 points heading into January. He didn't do any better at all. He went back down to his statistics that he had in October. October alone. He had 5 points in 3 months. 1 goal in 3 months. You combine that together, that's 7 goals in 3 months. 7 goals in an entire season. That is a very disappointing. He played third line for a lot of this season with the Devils, and it's just, I don't know what to expect out of him next season. Now, I have it said he's not sitting down to the minors at all. I already mentioned that. His 2019 totals, he played 61 games, had 7 goals, 14 assists for 21 points. Honestly, he just played the third line, fourth line the whole season. I don't think I saw him in the starting lineup. For the first line, whatever it was, the first line and the second line, I didn't see him at all. And I was disappointed in him with his impact this season. And if he did have the full March and maybe April to play, he may have had higher points, but he probably wouldn't have been much higher. Now, that's it for the season recap for him. I'm gonna say, can he improve next season? Now, I pulled an example of a player that did not have a good first season after being drafted, and he came back in his next season and ended up having a great career. So I have Joe Thornton. Joe Thornton, I think, is a great example. Joe Thornton, he played his first season with the Boston Bruins. He had 3 goals, 4 assists for 7 points in 55 games. Everyone was really questioning, hey, can Joe Thornton really stay as an NHL player? Is Joe Thornton a bust? Can Joe Thornton not play? He proved us wrong. In the next season, he had 16 goals, 25 assists for 41 points in 81 games with the Boston Bruins. And in his entire career then with the San Jose Sharks and the Boston Bruins, he had 420 goals, 189 assists, or 1,089 assists for 1,509 points in 1,636 games. And he recently signed a contract with the Toronto Maple Leafs yesterday, 1-year contract. We'll get into that later today. And I think that you look at this and I think if he can be like if he can be like Joe Thornton, I think that the Devils are going to have a very solid player next season. So, that's one thing I would definitely expect. If you enjoyed the video, do make sure to like the subscribe button. If Jack Hughes can improve next season, he's not a bust yet. No way in heck. But I think this guy is a great contract. It's a great contract offer, and we're gonna see what happens. So yeah, thanks for watching. Thank you for all that constant support. We've gained a few subscribers in the past couple days. I did not expect the next 3 months to be the best of months for the channel wise. The views will still be there, but I think that the subscribers will be very slow. And we've been at 525, 526 for the past 2 weeks, and we just hit 530. So I did not expect it to be the best 3 months of, because it is the off season. And, we're going to see what happens. So, yeah. Anyways, thank you for the support. We're trying to get to 600 subscribers by the end of the year. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next video.